Sista Cee.
Brother Adam.
What's going on?
What's up, my guy?
How you feeling?
How's it going?
Good, good. Welcome back.
Welcome back. Another episode.
We out here.
We made it.
I love it.
What's up?
All right. We got a hot topic this week.
Hot topic.
Very hot topic.
What up?
We talking about college. Some things are different now.
Yeah, it is.
So this is such a hot topic right now that you see people talking about it a lot, different podcasts, but also in the news of late. And then also it's reached now to like presidential campaigns.
Yes.
They're talking about, do you forgive the college debt? Do we not forgive it? So we come from an era where the path to success had to go through college.
Right.
But now you fast forward and there's a ton of people in a ton of debt. And so now the conversation is maybe the path to success doesn't necessarily have to go through college.
Might not be college.
It might not be it. I mean, we both have college experience. We got a lot of friends with college experience. Do you still think in 2023, college is the answer? That's what we're going to
Yes
find
and no.
out. Okay.
I'm in between yes and no.
Okay.
I do feel like there are majors out there that will put you in a place where you could get that career that you might want.
Makes sense. Yep.
You know, and only way you could get that career, you need a college education to get it. Now, there may be other vehicles for you to get that education, but right now, as it stands, for you to get that career that you may want, you have to have a college degree to obtain it.
Yeah.
So I can't be against it when I know that you still need it.
For sure.
You know, where you stand on it.
So I'm in agreement with you. Obviously, like there's some professions that it's necessary. You're trying to be an engineer, a doctor, a lawyer, all the major ones. Like you can't get there without the college degree. It becomes now questionable when you think about a lot of these other industries that people get into. Is it worth going into a ton of debt for it? Right. I have changed my mind of late because I realize now that like there's all these jobs that exist now that wasn't around when we were coming up. So for example, content creator, right?
Right.
I remember the first time, it had to be like 4 or 5 years ago. I had a little cousin graduating from high school. I'm like, great student. I'm like, yo, where you going to college? He was like, I just want to do YouTube.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I'm like, huh?
Yeah.
I'm like, no, bro, that ain't it. Like, don't waste this beautiful brain of yours, right? But at the time, I wasn't aware of how content creation is profitable.
Correct.
I mean, we're sitting here doing it now. Right. And so there's all these other avenues that people can explore now or go down now where they don't necessarily need college to be successful, quote unquote, unsuccessful. Right.
I ran into that same situation. My little brother, I started to ask him questions. He was 15, 16. I said, hey, you know, what do you want to do when you get older? What are you thinking? What lane you want to go in? He's like, oh, I kind of want to just do YouTube. Same thing.
Yeah.
Like, bro, what do you mean just YouTube, right? So I had to educate myself on it, right? And once I decided that what we're just on right now, coming to this lane of content creating, I start to understand that, wow, it is a lane for content creating, and they make a very nice annual salary content creating. Yeah. But what I have learned is it's a consistency thing.
Do you think we were just so programmed and conditioned to think that like we had to do college? Like, what was your experience when you were like getting ready to leave high school? Because college for me was hammered home. Like, I mean, my parents drilled it. Even in high school, it was just, that was the expectation. Like, you guys got to go to college next year. There's I'd say like a good percentage of the kids that knew exactly what they wanted to do. All I wanted to do was hoop. So I still like when it came to thinking about a different occupation. Yeah. My goal was like to make it on the NBA, and I had tunnel vision with that, right? True. You're a hooper too.
Yeah. True.
So like, what did you?
That was my angle.
That's it, right? Okay.
Mine was a little different. It wasn't necessarily hammered home to me because my mom didn't do college. Okay. And I think that affects you a lot too. If your parents didn't go to college, they don't tend to push you as hard to go to college when they didn't go because they don't even know what to push. Yeah. Not to say my mom did not push me to say, hey, you should go to college. Were you looking to go to college? But when I had a ton of college offers, my junior year, I could have went anywhere. I bumped my 12th grade year, my senior year. I just bumped. I just did horrible. But I still had an opportunity to go somewhere. Yeah. Right? I had these letters, still had offers, and I didn't move on them. And nor did I have my mom to say, hey, you need to take up on some of these offers. We need to visit.
What about like coaches or counselors at the school? Were they?
So at school, yeah. It was my coach.
Okay.
My basketball coach was helping me a lot, but she got both my coaches got fired my senior year.
Oh, gotcha.
So I lost my coaches that were coaching me since my 9th grade year.
Oh, no.
Gone my senior year. I had no support. I had a brand new coach who knew nothing about creating a highlight tape. You remember the highlight tape? They call it something different now, the kids. But making my highlight tape, sending out my tape, I was doing all that on my own, which I had no idea.
Okay.
I was left on my own trying to put myself out there.
Right. And figure out like how to get to college.
How to do it. And then to hear the number, how much college may cost. I didn't even know about financial aid.
Right.
So I was like, I don't even know where this money is going to come from. My mom really didn't know where the money was going to come from. My dad wasn't much support at the time. I was just a lone wolf out there trying to figure it out on my own. So my next best option was to go JUCO.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Speaking about not knowing the financial aid piece, so that's what basically has gotten everybody in so much debt, right? You look up, you've been approved to like receive all this money for school, but no one really goes into details like how the interest works, how you need this money needs to be paid back at some point.
Absolutely.
I just can remember thinking in college that like, all right, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
If I get this degree, like I'm gonna be good. I'm gonna get a job, making a ton of money.
Right.
And then it's like, I remember maybe 2-3 years after college where I'm sitting there like, where's all this money I'm supposed to be making?
Where is it?
Like where do I pick this up from? Like, you know what I mean?
You picked that up after college?
It took a while. Like, cause I was still, that's the thing. I don't know if I had like the proper expectation set. In my mind, I was just like, all right, if I finish college, I'm going to be successful.
Yeah.
That's all I thought. And then once you finish and you actually go into the workforce, I feel like a lot of people are kind of like, hitting the head with reality where it's like, I'm not making riches. Like this is still a grind out here. And then
you went straight to a 4-year right after.
I went straight to a 4-year. I did the whole dorm experience, everything.
I think that is where we may have differed because I noticed immediately, but I went to JUCO.
Okay.
So going to JUCO, I go to school with students of all age groups.
For sure.
From 18 and some may be as old as 55, 60 years old still. So I had those different conversations with older people in some instances, or not that old, maybe mid-age adults. Like, hey, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
Like why are you still here?
Yeah.
So I had those type of conversations where I would ask them, why are you back at junior college? Why are you taking more courses? Did you not go to a 4-year? And some would just break it down and keep it straight a buck. Like, I did the 4-year route. The major that I chose did not work out.
Gotcha.
So now I'm back choosing a different major on a career path where I feel like this lane will work. Because at that time, 20 years ago, it was still embedded in people that they needed a major to go after a certain career that they wanted.
For sure.
So that's why they were back at a junior college, taking all the prerequisites there to possibly transfer over again, because of course, going straight to a university, it's a lot more expensive.
So it's graduation season right now, right? I've been to a couple graduations already. And when you talk to these kids now that are like leaving high school at like 17, 18, there's a lot of them that it seems that they're not sure what they want to do. And I'm sure it was the case for us too when we were in high school. I'm sure there was still a lot of kids trying to figure it out. But like, what would you tell a kid right now that's coming to you and say, hey, see, like, I'm not sure about college. Like, what are some other alternatives if that's not the route?
I normally tell most young adults to go either to junior college or pick a trade.
Okay.
I ask, hey, are you good with your hands?
Yeah.
Because trade school, I'm a big advocate for trade school.
Yeah, for sure.
I went through trade school eventually after taking so many college courses, but trade school worked out for me a lot. It really helped land me into my career I have now.
So I'm not too familiar with trade school. I want to let you finish, but are you still able to get financial aid with the trade school?
Yes.
So you could still incur some debt?
Yes.
Oh, gotcha. Oh,
well, no.
Okay.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
But yes, too. It's not as expensive as going to a university.
Okay.
Trade schools are not as expensive. When I went to the electrical program to get my certification, financial aid cover all my courses.
Really?
If I wanted to continue on for another 2 years to get my engineering degree, then that would have come out my pocket, which was for 2 years, but I would only have to pay $100 a month for 2 years.
When you say cover, was that a loan or like a grant?
It was a grant, financial aid grant, where you don't have to pay that.
Pay it back. Okay, that's cool.
Right. So I was able to go through and not have to pay that back at all.
Oh, nice.
But if I was, like I said, if I were to go and get my engineering degree, electrical engineering degree, that would have come out my pocket. And at the time, yes, it would have cost me $100 a month to do it for 2 years.
Oh, that's not bad
which
at all.
Still isn't bad, you know.
So you're telling that young person maybe figure out a trade or go to the JUCO because it's obviously less expensive. And then do you think it benefits a kid to like just take classes to take them? And what are your thoughts on like the gap year? Because that's the new thing now where it's like kids that say, oh, I'm going to take a year and figure out what I want to do. Which
I think that's necessary.
Okay.
To a certain extent, because during that gap year, what are you really doing?
Yeah.
Are you taking
Wasting
a gap
time,
year
right?
and you just sitting at the house?
Right.
You trying to figure it out on YouTube? You sitting on your video game? Like, what are you actually doing during that gap time to figure out what's really going on in the world? Because you're not going to figure it out at home.
Yeah.
Right? You have to be out in the
world.
You
still need to be productive for that year.
You have to. You damn near got to get a job. You got to go get a job at a fast food restaurant, a grocery store, a bank. You know, something that's going to put you in a situation where you could be social with people and have those type of talks with people, because there's a lot of people in this walks of life right now who would game you up and be like, hey, I did college, it didn't work for me.
Right.
Somebody else say, I did college and it really worked for me. Somebody might tell you about a major that you may be interested in and they might be set off a light bulb in your ear, you know? So a gap year is okay if you're being productive during that gap year.
Gotcha.
Right?
So I'm scared of the gap year because I don't know if you've ever stopped, but like I've done that where it's like I'm going to school and it's like, oh, I'm gonna stop. I'll just go back. I'll skip a semester or skip a year. And then it's like you never come back or never get it done, right? Like I started master's programs and then I was like, I'm gonna take a break just because I was tired of school, but then like never came back to it. And you see a lot of people like that. I think it was something like 40% of the people that start college never finish. Like they end up dropping out, right? And I think it's not really knowing like where you want to go. But looking at college present day, I heard Shark Tank, one of the guys on there, Kevin O'Leary, he said something that like kind of resonated with me. He was saying that like college isn't maybe a necessity anymore because he has friends that went to these Ivy League schools like 50 years ago or 40 years ago, 30 years ago. And he said the information they got back then isn't even relevant anymore because of how much the world has changed, right?
Absolutely, yes.
So it's like when you think about a person being able to go into the workforce and get real life experience versus spending 5 and 6 years at the university, like which one is more valuable?
What is more valuable?
Because I've had friends who went into the workforce right away and they were doing a lot better than a lot of us that were coming out of college. I feel like we kind of caught up too, and some of them like surpassed, but my people that like had that work experience, they're still doing well right now without the degree.
Yep.
So again, it's like if you're not doing those majors that are like doctor's, nurse, lawyer, something like that.
I was doing my homework and it's called pre-professional degrees.
I love it. Oh,
that's what it's called. I didn't even know it was a term for it. If anybody else never heard of it, it's a term. It's called pre-professional.
Okay.
Whether you're an athlete,
yeah,
athlete is considered a pre-professional.
Okay.
A lawyer, just like you mentioned, a doctor, a nurse.
Okay.
I'm sure I'm missing one in there, but yeah, they're called pre-professionals. If you're not lined up to be in that career path, your professionalism, then it's a waste.
Okay. How about this? College offers a social benefit, right? Like beyond the education piece. What was that social experience like for you in college, and did that provide some value for you?
See, that was my kickback why I feel like young adults should go to college.
Okay, talk about
because
that.
I stood on the social side of it. I felt like even though I went to JUCO right after high school, that social experience I had in college was amazing.
Was it?
I had such a good time.
You was acting up, huh?
I met so many people. I done so many things.
You was acting up.
I was having a time.
Okay.
I was having a time. And that part of my life I wouldn't change for the world. You know?
Can you get that same experience in the workforce like you would in college?
So I'm starting to come to that a little bit.
Okay.
I'm starting to believe that same social experience that I experienced at the college, I could, because just being a young adult, right? Let's just throw a scenario out there.
Yeah.
As a young adult, you kind of get into some mess maybe, right? You might be doing a little more extracurricular activities than maybe you should.
Not me. I was an angel. I was an angel.
I doubt that very seriously. You could go work at a job and find yourself in some sticky situations real quick.
Oh, you could. Yeah, for sure.
Work bulls are real.
Work bulls are real.
And work drama is real.
I've always, I don't know if you ever worked at a call center, had friends in a call center job. That got spicy. My friends that were like servers working at restaurants. Yeah. Spicy also. Like, so yeah, I mean, you make a good point. Yeah. There was something about being on campus, so around a bunch of young people, kind of all in that same path or same spot in life, where we all kind of grew up together, right? And
I think it made you feel good.
It is like I don't know too many people that look back on college and was like, I hated my experience. There was something that it provided, some type of social something.
I agree.
And so I didn't do military, but I would imagine like you could maybe get that there too if you go to the military right out of high school. Yeah.
Yeah. I think you get that same experience in the military. I didn't go either. I know some people who did, but I think you can get that same experience there.
Okay. So the social benefit, valuable.
Yes.
Yeah, because you can't really put a price on that, I feel like. You can't.
And then you're so young, right? You're 19, 20, 21. You have no idea what you want to do. And then you still have those old school type of parents who want you to go to college.
Right. They're just happy you're there.
But then do you want to send your kid to school for $200,000 just so they could get a social benefit from it and not get a college education?
So that's the thing, right? I feel like as a parent, like you need to, as early as possible, expose your kids to like a variety of different interests or occupations to try to figure out what they want to do as early as possible. Because if you're in college trying to figure it out, you change your major a bunch of times. I mean, that money.
Speaking of that, how many times did you change your major?
I changed my major. Dang. I think I changed my major about 3 or 4 times. Yeah. Because I didn't know. I knew I was supposed to be there.
Yep.
But I didn't know what I wanted to do.
Yep.
And my parents never even like checked in and say like, okay, like how's it going? Where are you headed?
Yeah.
They were just happy I was enrolled in college. Like they were
how's
like,
your grades?
You're exactly. You're where you're supposed to be right now.
Yep.
So I feel like it's important for parents or critical. Like if you can, like you want your kid coming out of high school and kind of already having a path. What I like now is that there's these opportunities now with these high schools where you can actually start working on your college credits before you graduate high school. So there's these charter schools. I don't know if they have them in other areas, but at least here in the Los Angeles area where these kids are graduating, but they already got all of their they got their AA. Yeah. So they got all of those GE courses out the way.
Yeah.
See, I like that now because now you don't have to incur all these debt for 2 years taking just the history and math classes, all the general
that you don't even need.
That you don't need. You don't need them. Used.
You don't need them.
When was the last time you used the Pythagorean theorem?
Right. When the last time I used physiology?
The periodic table.
Yeah, the periodic table.
It's like
it's so many courses that I took that I don't use now. All the math courses we have to take.
Right.
Math 112, Math 115, Math 120, Math 125. Right. It was a struggle.
Yeah.
You know, and I was wondering, were those classes there to prepare you for the harder classes that may come about when it's time for you to enter in taking your degree? Right. You know how sometimes you just got to be vetted in to a lifestyle, or them courses there just to vet you in and prepare you for your career or your career major. Because do you think a 19-year-old that came straight out of high school or been in general classes for 12 school years, and then come right out and push them right into a major?
I think it's a money grab. Mm-hmm. It's a way for colleges to make more money. Look,
but yeah, for them. But how do you think those kids are going to handle that? Going straight into their major without the GE classes, without the general ed classes, just going straight into your major.
I think they're capable of doing that. Mm-hmm. I think it'll let them know earlier if this is the right major for them versus now they've spent 2 years kind of taking these arbitrary classes to figure out if.
But that costs.
It does. It does.
You have time to change when you're going through general ed. That's the difference too.
But you're still paying at that point though.
Just for general.
You're still accruing costs.
See now, as a parent, and we take our general ed classes, and you say, hey, I'm going to take up law school, so you're going to do paralegal classes first. Then you start taking your paralegal class, and you like, woo. Paralegal and stuff. That was my first one. I know. That was my first one. I was like, woo, I am not ready for this.
Okay.
I I was like, I'm not going to be eligible to play basketball. It's no way I'm going to remember all of this.
Yeah.
So I end up dropping out, right?
Gotcha.
But you don't have that option to do that if you choose your main major right going straight into college.
Okay. But I still feel like you could always switch it at any point. Maybe we could be wrong. I could be wrong. Yeah. But I'm not sure.
It's possible.
Okay.
I think,
All right. So back to the hypothetical, though.
Okay.
So this kid comes to you. See, I'm not sure what I want to do, right? And I put myself in there, too, because my daughter's going to be at that point someday. Mm-hmm. I like what you said, trade school, maybe just take a couple classes of college. Mm-hmm. But I would definitely want to try to see where their interest lies before I start, either taking on debt. Mm-hmm. Because I don't know how much debt makes sense for a college degree.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think the cap should be? Like, how much do you think a person should go in debt for college?
To be honest, I don't think college should cost at all.
Oh.
To be honest.
Now,
let's keep it real.
You'll upset some political people.
Let's keep it real.
Yeah.
If I was to throw a number out there, back in the day, years ago, I know the times changed, inflation has came about, but you used to be able to afford college for like almost $3,500 to $5,000 a year.
True story.
That's facts.
Yeah.
Right now, it's so high. You have to work a 60-hour-a-week job to be able to afford to pay for college now. It's insane.
Yeah.
So to throw a number out there right now, reality, I don't know.
Gotcha.
Because I don't know the cap of the Arcola now. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So a conversation with a child should be like, let's explore the most affordable options. Mm-hmm. So JUCO, trade school, mm-hmm. Trying to figure out where that free money is.
How to get it.
Now, what if your kid has aspirations of going to a USC, a Ivy League, someplace, a Pepperdine? Also, a funny story with me and my parents, we went to a orientation, a kind of like open house situation for Pepperdine. Mm-hmm. I remember when it got to what the tuition cost was. Mm-hmm. My dad looked at me, didn't say a word, just got up and was like, we're out. It's like $30,000 for the year, 35, 40. Okay. He heard that number, was like, nah, let's go.
No way.
Let's go. We out of here. It's a beautiful campus. I appreciate Malibu and all it has to offer.
Yeah.
This ain't for you, son.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
We out.
Yeah. Rich kids don't have that issue. So then there's a conversation about, is this kind of a rich poor thing?
Yes.
College now? Because you have a class of people where it's like, okay, I can't maybe afford to do this on my own, so now I have to take on these loans. Mm-hmm. But now I'm starting my journey out, and I'm in this big hole, mm-hmm. $100,000, $200,000 for some people, and it's never going to go away.
Never.
Is it worth it?
No.
It's not.
It's not.
Okay.
Mm-mm. I think right now our world is changing so much. A lot of the things that most people want to do to change reels a little bit is you can get online courses.
You can.
Online courses can teach you so much. I'm in the middle. In the past year, I've probably signed up for 5 different online courses that have been really valuable. Where before I even knew about the programs online, I was looking up the street at maybe some adult schools or going up the street to the community college because I wanted to learn a particular thing. And I knew that they had them at the college. Yeah. But at the college, it was going to cost me. Right. But and they were going to teach me all I needed to do. And what I was learning wasn't going to benefit my career any. It was just going to kind of benefit my side hobbies that I like to do, what I enjoy to do. I just wanted to learn how to do it.
Gotcha.
Which was going to cost me maybe about $1,200 to $1,500 for that semester. Ooh, yeah. Right? I found this online course through this schooling, Udemy, and the course only cost me $12.99. And in this program, he offers like 25 sections, and he breaks it down, teaches this program really, really well. And I learn at my own time. I learn at my own pace. I log in when I want to. It doesn't go away. And $12.99, and here I am right now. And I know how to operate the software that I was, trying to learn how to use.
Nice.
Right?
So those are those other avenues that people need to exhaust or at least look into.
I know one discouragement for a lot of people was people hated Excel.
Yeah.
Like people feel like, oh, how am I going to learn how to do Excel? I never went to college.
Yeah.
You don't need to go to college to learn Excel.
Right.
And sometimes to work an administrative job, some require you, hey, do you know how to do Excel? Most people don't know how to use Excel. Yeah. But just like I said, instead of going to college and paying all those fees, you can find an online program and you can learn how to use Excel right online.
I'm not familiar with it, but I know Google, I think maybe Amazon, like they offer a bunch of these different like certification and credential, like what you're talking about online now, which I feel like is great if it then makes you more employable after that, where you could actually go out and then make an income.
Yeah.
I was listening to Dave Ramsey. I had sent that to you, where he talked about getting the return on your investment.
The ROI.
Man, when he framed it like that and broke that down, right now, if somebody came to you and was like, hey, I want you to invest this $100,000 and I'm going to give you back 150, you would be like, that's solid. That's cool.
I'm cool with that.
That's a great return on my investment. I'm getting
cool
back 50%. Let's
yeah, I'm good with that.
But now if that same person came to you and said, I want you to invest this 100,000, but I'm only going to give you back 50, and then you're going to pay interest off that 50 the rest of your life, you'd be like, nah.
Like, say what?
Exactly.
No, you're not going to give it up.
Yeah. So
it won't make sense to you.
It seems like it's unfair that all these people have this debt that they've accrued because they've been taught like this was the path to success. And now you look up and it's like, I'm in such a deep hole, I can't get out of it. And there's people in the government that feels like, well, you made that decision to do that, so we're not going to help you out.
But mind you, I made this decision when I was a very young adult.
Very young adult. You guys approved me for money, but never really explained how it worked. Right. Although it is your responsibility to understand the stuff that you're signing up for. Why do you think
parents don't even really understand?
Parents don't understand. So we're talking about government not really wanting to forgive student debt. How does that make you feel as somebody that has incurred some debt? Like how much student debt, if you don't mind sharing that? I know it's your personal business. How much student debt are you in? And then how long do you feel like you're going to be paying this thing off?
So right now, my student debt may be about $30,000.
Okay.
I've been at.
That's not bad.
Funny thing is, I've been at $30,000 for the past 10 years.
No, are you serious?
because I've only been paying the interest.
Oh,
I only pay enough to cover the interest because I can't listen.
You don't want to give them your money, huh?
No.
Why?
No, I just if I made more, I probably would.
Yeah.
Chuck it up. But when you think about, and this is the problem with college that most people are having.
Yeah.
You're not that ROI.
That return on your investment.
Okay. Yeah. We're not making that much money to be able to pay for your college debt anymore. I mean, you're paying for you're paying for your car insurance.
Yeah.
You're paying for your car note. You're paying rent.
Yeah.
You're paying renter's insurance. You're paying for your groceries. You're paying just to live. And then you want to tell me you want me to pay this college debt that I'm not even using? Man. So how much do I need to give y'all just so it won't show up?
Just leave me alone.
Just leave me alone. It's not going to show up on my credit.
Yeah.
That is in default.
Yeah.
That's how much? Cool. So that's exactly how much I pay. So it's been $30,000 for over 10 years.
Gotcha. That's actually a small number though, considering a lot of people are a lot more deeper in the hole.
So we were talking earlier, and you had said you didn't realize the importance, that you didn't really see the importance of your degree to after you completed
I just didn't
college.
Know I didn't know how my degree was gonna make me money. Like I still had to figure that out after I was finished with school.
So I picked mine up early. That's what I was talking about, going to JUCO and talking to people. I started to realize, like, I don't know if I want to go to a 4-year.
Right.
Because what I'm seeing from a lot of people, especially older people, that they're not really making money on the degrees that they chose.
Yeah.
That's what I started to see. And I was like, and I started thinking about debt. I had one of those moms who would tell me, don't you go in debt. Don't you go in debt. The moment you start going in debt, you won't be able to get approved for anything.
Yeah.
So just knowing that in the back of my head scared me too.
Okay.
So I never put myself in a position where I signed myself up for college debt until I knew exactly what I wanted to do. And then when I did, I went to a 4-year, which was on an online course.
Yeah.
And I did plan on finishing, but you know how we just talking about earlier about that gap.
Yeah.
I took that break because at the time I needed to focus on a career too.
Yeah,
I still needed a job, a good job. So part of that, I took a break and I started working in my job, where I'm at now.
Yeah.
And I never picked back up to finish it off. I did sign up not that long ago to try to finish it, but then red flags just start flying in the air again. It was like, do I really need it? Because it was more so me trying to prove to myself that I can complete it.
Gotcha.
You know, I started it and I just wanted to say that, hey, at least I finished it.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, do I just want to be able to pay another $30,000 just for me to say I finished?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not going to use it. I mean, it's beneficial for me. I mean, because, hey, I got my degree in my degree was business administration with a concentration in finance.
Gotcha.
So I kind of always wanted to finish it, but then I was like, I'm not even in that career really, you know. So that's kind of where.
So you haven't hit your ROI yet.
No, no. You see that 30,000 is still there.
So I mean, I was one of the like fortunate group, as like I had both working parents that was in the home. And so I didn't have to take on college debt because they were able to pay it for me, right? Plus, also, I went to a state school, which was affordable.
Okay.
And then what was really like a godsend was I started working for Verizon Wireless while in college, and they did tuition reimbursement. Oh. And like full.
Yes.
And that was like, oh, cool. Now my parents, I alleviate like a burden on my parents. Yes. And I'm like, they paid like books, everything.
Yes.
So I was one of those ones that was able to get out of college with like no debt. But speaking of parents thing, though, as a parent, obviously, like if you're pushing your child to college and you're telling them, hey, you need to do this thing, how much support or responsibility is on the parent then to like take on some of that financial burden? Because like
the responsibility of it,
the kid's taking on student debt or student loans, but a parent could go get a personal loan. And they can put that burden on themselves. Yeah.
The responsibility, as we're talking about it now, I've been thinking about it when we decided to have this discussion. I've been thinking, like, are we putting this on the parents? Are we putting this on the parents? A parent might be listening to this or looking and may say, like, no, heck no. But when you think about it, it may be on the parent. It may be for that parent to educate themselves how to move forward with their kids, because yes, it's your parents 9 times out of 10 pushing you go to college. Yes, you might have some teachers, counselors, mentors that may say, hey, yeah, let's go ahead, you should go to college. But your parent is the one who's going to be the one initially going to help you get there.
Right.
And your parent is the one who's going to put their name on that financial aid paperwork. Financial aid does not let you put in any application unless your mother and your father is on that application. They won't let you get past that part.
Gotcha.
You can't do it on your own, especially if I think you're under 26 or 25. So as a parent, I think it is now the time for them to step up and really do their due diligence on getting their kid prepared for the next level of life. Whether they might be, and if they want to be YouTube creators, figure out what they need to be able to progress in that lane as being a YouTube creator, because you might have to go buy all their equipment.
Yeah.
You might have to make sure they're on it every day, just like you would as if they were at school, and in their books are, how did you do on your tests? Have you been studying?
So you said support the kid's dream even if it's not college.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because some YouTubers are making more money than their parents.
Oh, that's facts. Yeah.
It's a real thing.
There's a lot of YouTubers not making any bread.
There is a lot of YouTube, but why?
Yeah.
Understanding what your kid may want and then putting that in front of them. I mean, you may not go get the equipment. You might believe in your kid. Your kid might be a dope kid, and they may have a huge following, and you might be able to see that for that kid.
Yeah.
But then you might also see in your kid, like, I don't think that's your lane, baby.
Right.
But I'm going to show you everything that you need to do to be able to fulfill this dream. So I'm going to show you somebody who may have done these things that you want to do, and this is what is expected out of you as being a YouTube creator.
How long do you support your child for as your parent, right? If your kid does do the college thing and then they're finished with school, like how much support do you give that kid? Like, what do you think is a good cutoff age, or like when you say, all right, now you got this? Or do you say, hey, I'm going to keep helping you out until you can pay down some of this student loan debt?
I think the cutoff era is done.
Oh, yeah.
I think the cutoff era where parents are anticipating.
I never liked the cutoff era.
Anticipating their kids to be out of the house by 18, 21, those two numbers that we're really familiar with, 24, 25.
Yeah.
I think that's gone in the past.
Okay.
I think now we should be setting up our kids to be living with us
for
a while, like building their families in our house with us.
Okay.
Like, you know, I know that you may not want you've been raising that kid. You be like, and that's kind of what people look forward to with sending their kids off to college, because that's kind of their break to say, hey, you going out there,
I got my me time again.
Live your life a little while, venture the world, and then when you're done, come on back home. I'll be right here waiting. But why do that and accrue all that debt? Yeah. You know, to do that. So, yeah, we have to start thinking differently. And to answer your question, the cutoff is gone for me. We
agree 1,000% on that. Like, I feel like that support really should never go away. Yeah. Because you see, I see wealthy families and they never do that. It's like, why would I want my kid to drown? Like, I need them to survive. And so I'm going to help as much as possible, even if that means me having to pay off their college debt for them. Yeah. Especially if I'm the one pushing them in that direction. So in closing, what are some things you feel like some of these kids can do to kind of maybe not go away from college, but what are some other things they could even do while they're maybe in college, or just some other avenues that I think they can explore now? Finding a mentor. Okay. Talk about that. That's a good one. Talk about that.
I think that is a key to success for any adult, not even young adults. I think finding a mentor as an adult right now at my age is still a good thing.
Yeah, it's beneficial for sure.
It's super beneficial. So being able to find someone who is working in your field that you may be interested in, to be able to have their advice, you know, walk their path, understand what exactly I need to be doing to get in the lane that you're in. That's a good one.
That's super important, because then you're able to pick somebody's brain. They're giving you firsthand experience on like what it's like to be in that particular industry, and then even if it's something you decide not to do, at least you now know, like, hey, I had a chance to like be mentored by this person. I know like this is no longer the industry for me, so I'm gonna go try this other industry, and then hopefully find somebody to mentor you in that space also. Yeah, that's a good one. I think another good one is something that, you know, you always kind of talk about, is being able to learn more than one skill that could generate some income for you, right? Absolutely. So just because you're in college doesn't mean, you know, you still can't be a content creator, because you see a lot of people do that now too. Absolutely. Or you can't like have some other side hustles. If it's like braiding hair, if it's like, you know, I restore sneakers for people, or, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like kids right now, you gotta, and that's not even just kids, to your point, everybody. Absolutely. You have to have multiple skills that can generate some income. And I feel like that'll help people not like fall into that trap of just taking on so much debt for school. Absolutely. I call it feeding the brain. Yeah. I think I feed my brain at least almost every day of the week. I feed my brain with different type of content, different type of material. And that might be from reading a book, listening to a podcast, looking at a YouTube, listening to my favorite podcaster, you know, my favorite pastor. You know, I feed my brain, because I think that you need to hear all from, how am I'm saying this jacked up, but you need to just hear. You need exposure.
Exposure to different walks of life.
Yeah, you need that exposure.
From different parts of walks of life to give you those tidbits. It's like, ooh, you picked a little bit up from that person. I picked up a little bit from that person, to make it all come together in full circle. Yeah. You know, it's hard to get full circle just from your parent. Okay. You know?
That's true. Actually, that's 100% true.
And who you network with is huge. Yeah. I think that's big on how to move forward. Put your network, your circle of people that's around you. I know people, most young adults hear that all the time. That's one thing parents say all the time. Watch the company you keep. Yeah. That's huge. Because if everybody around you is just bums, 9 times out of 10, you're going to follow that path.
And that was the one thing about college. I felt like, for me at least, is everybody around me, I felt like was like had aspirations to do bigger things, and that energy is infectious.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
All right, last question. You ready?
Hit him.
Is student loans a scam? That's what we need to know. Well, have we been scammed this whole time?
Yes.
Oof. Yeah. We need to hear from y'all. We need input on that one.
Yeah. If you don't agree to that, then I don't think you pay any, even though my student loan debt isn't that high, but just to know, after doing my research and doing my homework of how much it used to cost years ago. Right. And even though times have changed, and yes, we should expect college to cost more, but it still should be based off of the cost of living Still, now at minimum wage.
Right.
You go to Europe, you don't have to pay for college if you live in the same. I want to say it's the school district. So wherever you went to,
like whatever area
you live in, and then if you do, the cost is really, really low. But when you come to America, it's completely different.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Yeah.
Why is that? College should be free. I stand on that.
I love it. Listen, I agree with you. And we need to hear from y'all. Like, what do you guys' experience been with college? Who's dealing with debt right now? And then has the college loans been a scam?
Absolutely. So, in closing, make sure y'all follow us.
I love it. Please.
On all platforms, Apple, Spotify, YouTube. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, share, follow.
All of it.
You can follow us on Instagram at Just Two Scorpios.
Just two of us. But shout out to all the other Scorpios out there because we love you all. And some of the other Zodiacs.
Yeah.
Just some of them, not all of them.
Not all of them. But all of y'all are welcome. It's been great.
Yeah.
Till next time.
Well, I appreciate you.
We out of here.
We out of here. Just two Scorpios.